Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. This one is kind of a mess stacked on top of a mess, packaged inside of a bit of a disaster and shipped via UPS. I've got a few projects on the go. This footage happened over the period of a little over a week. I've gone on 2 camping trips during this time, and yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of detailed footage. I was trying to get a few things done during the time that this footage was shot, and I am once again trying to get a bunch of stuff done, trying to get some bed plates made, and working on some other stuff. So this footage is kind of just snippets of what I've been doing for the last week or so. 6:04 a.m. and I'm just finishing putting the last piece of fiberglass on the mold. After I recorded my last clip, I decided to do this because if I didn't, I wouldn't get back to it probably until Monday. It's currently, I guess, Friday morning now. And so I didn't want to leave this all weekend without doing any work on it. So I was up till 6 in the morning, a little after 6 in the morning, putting fiberglass on this, and then got up in the morning and decided that it wasn't thick enough. So I found 2 more packages of fiberglass that I had purchased like 12 years ago and forgot about. And so I put that stuff on. I'm guessing that you guys can't see very much, but it is currently about 10:30 p.m. and I made it out camping. I'm sitting in my truck now so that I don't bother Megan. Before we left, I popped the bed plate into the oven and baked it for a little while. And it's quite hard. It's actually hard enough I'm going to sit in my truck and use one of these wedge things and try to get some of the trimmings off around the bottom of it. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good way to charge my laptop. It sucks up quite a bit of power, so I don't think that I'm actually going to get this video out until probably Sunday, late Sunday. I know I didn't talk to you guys about this while I was building the mold, but I was quite concerned that the PVA wasn't actually going to release. What I ended up using is EVA foam, and simply put PVA on over it. I didn't wax it or anything, and I thought maybe I would have to scrape it all off, but it is separating from the mold, so that is good news. I know you guys can't really see anything, but you'll just have to trust me. I haven't shown you guys any of this, but I'm working on making a bed plate mold. And because this ski isn't going to be hanging around for much longer, I suspect, I decided to copy the bed plate from it first. So I'm making an SXR bed plate mold first. And then once I get this done, I will make one of my X2. There you have it. That is one thick, heavy piece of cardboard right there. I got some of this, I forget what you call it, MTI or DTMTI, yeah. So this is semi-permeable infusion vacuum hose. Talk more about that later probably. Not sure if I'll even use it, but make sure this is the right stuff. Ooh, ooh, oh. Ooh, ooh, oh. Ooh, ooh, oh. Very nice, very nice. So instead of unidirectional, I was able to get bidirectional at a way cheaper price. I believe this is 22 ounce, so I'll have to measure it to check to see what the actual thickness is. This is, oh yeah, 0.43. And this stuff is 0.25 or something like that. Yeah. 0.27. Okay. Good enough. I figured while the SXR 800 was here, I should copy the ride plate. So that's what this is. You guys already saw that I started the bed plate mold and it is now finished. It's basically ready for one more coat of wax and then I can start laying up another bed plate on this. So I'll have one of those ready to go soon, hopefully. I got in an order of carbon fiber today. This is a very expensive spool of bi-directional carbon. So I'm going to be making some bed plates and some ride plates. I have 2 more rolls in that box over there that I got in with this. It is 2x2 twill 3K and 2x2 twill 12K. So a little bit thicker toes. And I plan on using that on the surfaces to make it a little bit nicer appearance. The 12K shows up a little better. So I was recording some clips telling you guys about finishing this project. And then I noticed that it was kind of developing a few air pockets. And I thought, hey, wait a second. Why don't I pop that into a vacuum bag? So, well, that is exactly what I've done. It is currently the next morning and I'm getting ready to go and do some service calls. And the mold, held vacuum overnight. Not a perfect one, but it is 20.5 inches of mercury. So that is good. It's definitely more than it needed. The epoxy still has not completely set up. This stuff takes quite a long time to set up. And it is not cool in here, but the temperature in here is only about 21 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure if this will be cured when I'm finished my service calls, but I have other stuff to do anyway. I think I will probably try to lay up some material. I need to put one more coat of wax on this and then try laying up some material. I got a comment from somebody in the comments section of one of my last videos about how to possibly lay this material in here without using any tack glue. I haven't really had time to read through the comment, but I really appreciate you guys giving me helpful advice in the comments. When I go into my huge rants and kind of lay out a list of things that I've done and why I've done them, that's not my way of trying to be nasty or rude or anything. That's just me really trying to explain my situation. It was a bit of a struggle to get the foam off, but I got it all off now, so I'm going to try popping the ride plate out of the mold. I'm assuming it's going to come out pretty easily. This mold doesn't need to be nearly as rigid as the bed plate one, so I didn't make it nearly as thick. It's still fairly thick. I think it's about 3 millimeters in most places. Come on, come on. There we have it. All right. One bed plate mold that needs to be cleaned up. I'm about to start making the first bed plate with the new mold, and I'm going to use a 12K fabric for the first layer, and then 3K and bi-directional for the rest. I don't think I'm going to film any of this because I'm just trying to get it done quickly. It is 10:47 p.m. on Tuesday. I have some service calls to do tomorrow, so I can't be out too late. I'm going to try to get this done. I have the bi-directional and all of the cloth cut out, and I'm going to cut out a few extra pieces and lay them in kind of strategic spots. But for now, I think I have what I need. So I'm going to spray a little bit of spray tack down here to get it started. And yeah, I will come back when I have something to report. It is now 11:45 and I have 3 layers of cloth and 1 layer of the bi-directional on. The cosmetic layer of cloth on the surface of the mold is 12K 11 ounce cloth, followed up by 2 layers of 6 ounce 3K. Both of those are twills. And then the bi-directional I have cut into 3 strips, 1, 2, 3, and then filled in these spaces here, 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 and here with separate pieces. I'm getting faster at this because it's now currently 12:04 and I just put down 2 layers of the 6 ounce cloth. Next up is going to be some more strips of the bi-directional, but before I do that, I am going to go in for the night and I'll have to come out tomorrow and continue where I left off, which is why I am making this list, because I will forget. So I guess the next thing you guys will see is tomorrow. Just like that, it is the next day and I've got all of the cloth down except for the last 2 layers of 6 ounce cloth. This method and this material worked out a whole lot better than the last time. I'm getting quite a bit faster at this. So basically now I just need to put the last 2 pieces of cloth on, clean up the mold, and basically put it in a bag and get it ready for infusing. Apparently I'm going to have a bad allergy day, so I'm not going to do very much talking because I'll just have to edit it all out. I have a feeling this is going to pop right at it. Oh man. Oh man. The last clip that you guys would have seen was me pulling this bed plate out of the mold, and although it is going to be a usable part, I did have some difficulties with it, which I will get into in a minute. It is currently Monday of the Labor Day long weekend, and it's been several days since that last clip. The first of this video was a separate camping trip, which was a week ago, and we are just returning from another camping trip on Labor Day long weekend. So haven't had a whole lot of time to play with this stuff, but as you guys have seen, I have had time to trim this up and drill the holes in it. And yeah, like I say, it is going to be a usable part, but I did have some issues which I will explain to you guys right now. I didn't show this in the video, even though I did record most of it. It's way quicker to explain, and I don't want to make this video very long, and I don't want to have a ton of editing to do. So basically what happened is I was degassing the epoxy and I crimped off the line between the vacuum chamber and the part. And when I was finished degassing the epoxy, I pulled the vacuum in the chamber again, but I didn't remove the clamp between the part and the vacuum chamber. As a result, the pressure between the part and the atmosphere started to equalize, and so the flow of epoxy slowed way down going into the part. When I realized what happened, I opened up the clamp, not thinking about it, and the epoxy flow all of a sudden shot across the part very quickly, and didn't want to infuse the part very well. So I had to slow the flow way down and try to spend a lot of time making sure that the epoxy underneath on the surface actually caught up to the front of the epoxy line. Anyway, it ended up fully infusing, which is a good thing for sure. The second thing that happened while all this was happening, I had a small leak, and I wasn't aware that I had a leak because I was dealing with all this other stuff. And so I went to patch the leak, and it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to, and I was very quickly running out of time to get it patched up before the part was fully infused. Turns out it worked out and I got it, but it was a bit of a struggle for sure. This is the original test bed plate, which was copied off of my X2, and this is the bed plate that I just finished and is copied off of the SXR 800. Although they look quite different, the bolt patterns are the same, and the offset between where the engine mounts and the motor mounts go is the same on both of these, so they are completely interchangeable. The plan was to sell this part, but I am not at all pleased about the way that it turned out, so I'm actually going to keep this one for myself. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I think I might put a clear coat on both of these actually, so I can get some video and photos of them and just see how cool they look with a little bit of a shine on them. I didn't mention anything about it in this video, but the reason why this bed plate popped out of the mold so easily is because I used a different mold release. In the last video where I made the other carbon fiber bed plate, I told you guys that I struggled quite a bit getting it out of the mold and I was considering buying a different release agent. Well, that's what I ended up doing. I bought this stuff, which is actually not what I meant to buy. What I meant to buy was Loctite Free Coat 700 NC, and as you guys can see, this is 800 NC. And the difference is, from what I understand, this is meant for rubber parts and heated steel molds, and the 700 NC is meant for just epoxy parts. This stuff is applied a little bit different from what I understand. So the way I applied this, or started to apply it, was preheating the mold, spraying it on, and letting it evaporate. After I got one coat of it on, I realized it was actually the wrong stuff, and so I applied a couple of coats of the wax that I normally use, and you guys saw the results. It fell completely out of the mold. I did cut a few seconds of footage out just to make the video flow a little better, but it took me literally less than a minute, and it took no effort whatsoever to get the part out of the mold, so I'm extremely happy with the way this stuff worked. I'm going to continue using all the rest of this can and keep using the same process that I used. If it continues to work as good as it did for me this last time, then I'll probably buy this stuff again and use it instead of the proper stuff. I did hope to have a few of these ready to go for this week and be shipping them out, but a few things got in the way. And I am going to have to order some more epoxy before I can make a bunch more of these. But one of the things that slowed me down is that I made this, which is the ride plate mold for the SXR 800. I'm planning on building one of these fairly soon. The mold is basically done. It just needs a little bit of polishing. But I wanted your guys' opinion on what I should do for building up the areas around the bolt holes and the braces. The one from the X2 doesn't use a whole lot of bracing. As you can see, just a couple of ribs across it, and it's not terribly thick through this area. But the R&D plate for the SXR 800 is actually about 15 millimeters thick through here, maybe even a little bit more. And I'm not sure that I should try stacking like 17 layers of carbon fiber up here. I think that that would be problematic. I'm obviously not going to make the whole thing 17 millimeters thick because that would be phenomenally expensive and take a huge amount of epoxy, and it would just cost too much. It'd be stupid. So what I need your guys' opinion on is how I should go about building these ribs. I was thinking about possibly making a mold of the bottom side of this and then making a two-piece mold, but I think that's a little bit overly complicated. I had also considered making some aluminum inserts. I might have mentioned that already in this video, and basically making the part, drilling the holes out, and then putting some inserts in there and epoxying them in place. But that is quite complicated and very time consuming. So yeah, I'm open to suggestions on how to make this part. That just about does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do realize that I didn't use nearly as much detailed footage in this video as I normally do, and I did that for a couple of reasons. One is that I was really busy just trying to get a few things done, and the second reason is that I've already made videos about making the bed plate molds and the bed plates themselves, and I don't want to keep making that same video over and over again. The same is true for making the ride plate mold. It is the same thing, only a little bit easier. And so I just threw in a couple of interesting tidbits of what I did over the last week. What happens next week is going to be largely dependent on whether or not I can get some more epoxy quickly. I might actually buy some locally and then order some so that I have lots of it. I have enough, I think, to make one bed plate. If I don't, I might start cutting up material and getting ready to make a ride plate. So I'm not sure what the next video is going to be. Anyway, that is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.